Welcome back to VOP this morning. Here we have to look at the hike in the price of essential commodities and what it has left many and how it has left many frustrated. The result of such frustration made the residents of Mina, the Niger state capital, troop to the street to protest against the rising cost of living. A group of men and women blocked Mina Bida Road at the popular Bakungu roundabout to express their grievances over the rising cost of food items. One of the protesters revealed that a bag of cement, which was for 5,500 naira at the beginning of January 2024, rose to 7,300 naira in a short period. Efforts by the police to control the protesting crowd almost resulted in violence as protesters asked the police to leave, forcing the police to fire several shots in the air. The country's challenging situation have left various groups of people resorting to prayers, while others calling on the government to take a decisive measure. And this is what we have to talk about this morning again. And I'm happy that we have interest. We have men in the studio to help. We have men, yes. We have Mr. Lawal here, and we have Mr. John and Mr. Charles to help dissect this. And now I will come to you, Mr. Lawal, since you're the one in the studio with us. We know that one cannot ascertain the cost of living in Nigeria, because of the nation, the way it is not really balanced. What is selling in Abuja might not be the same in Lagos and all that. And, it varies from place to place. I know what method, do you think the people that, because we could remember the presidency was saying something about the cost of living in Nigeria is the lowest in Africa. He made mention of that. Bayo Ononoga actually brought that out. So now, can you tell us what measures do you think these people actually use to arrive at this point, and how reliable is it?
That
the cost of living is not high. It's the lowest in Africa.
It's like telling somebody who is sick and you are still better than somebody who is dead. After all, you are not yet dead, or you are telling somebody who is eating a square meal, 1 square meal a day instead of 3. You are still eating 1, and so you are still better than somebody who is not eating at all. I mean, that shows irresponsibility. You are not responsible to your that is an I don't care attitude. Okay. You get, the whole world can see that Nigeria is going through economic crisis. There's hardship for the people. That's why you see people. In fact, they are creating measures against Nigeria across the world to try to curb us, because everybody wants to run away from this country. And then the government is coming to tell us that we are still we are still not the lowest. What does that mean? Now, what the government needs to do is, in fact, it's not even the government, the people. Let me say, combined with the government. If the government wants to be serious about putting things right so that people will stop complaining, that resource control is still the solution. There will be competitions among the states. There will be competitions among the local governments. All of them will be trying to make their area attractive to people to come and live, for investors to come in. Look at a place like Adamawa, Taraba, so big that even if it can accommodate over 5 million cattle. If there's resource control, they will encourage these Fulani herdsmen to come there and establish themselves, and then from there they will establish milk industries, and they will begin to produce milk in Nigeria, and they will begin to export it to other African countries. We'll be producing leather, we'll be exporting it across to Europe. We'll be producing canned meat products and exporting it across. Just Taraba and Adamawa, look at their land masses. If you see the map, you'll be wondering, well, this is a waste. It's a waste. Because there's no resource control. All of them will just sit down and be waiting for money to be allocated and to be shared. So all these things, if we know naturally that areas to areas, their standard of living may not be the same. Lagos is, they say Lagos is congested. Because they say Lagos is congested, they may want to raise their own standard of living. That is housing, more taxes. You may decide to go to a place like Osun State, where they are looking for people to come in and invest. don't worry, here housing, we have housing estate here, we can even give it at a lower rate. And you want to go there, and is it not to live and do your normal business and live your life? You want to go there, and then by going to that area, you be decongesting Lagos. You want to go to Taraba, Adamawa, where you have millions of cattle being used. You see people being employed, and when they are employed, it will decongest Lagos. When they are employed and government is making, the government of Taraba is making revenue, they will be able to put infrastructures in place, and then to be attractive to you, you want to go there. So why are Nigerians doing japa? It's because over there, the standard of living is okay for them. They can get a good job, they can live their normal life. That's why they are running there now.
Oh, okay.
So if you do the same thing in different states, look at Sokoto, even sand, look at this sand. They say desert. That sand is a vast resources, because sand is made of silicon. Silicate, that's sand. From silicate you get silicon. From this silicon you can use it to make almost everything, your glasses, your microchip. So many things can be made from this thing. I do encourage our institution, technology institutions, universities, to see how we can use these sands to make something useful, convert into raw materials. Somebody did that with platinum. Somebody did that with helium. So many. Why can't we do it? Because we have it abundantly in the north. We could have an industry, an institution. Take this fund, go and see. Within a year, we want to see what we are going to convert this sand to. So that very soon, which will be exporting as a raw material, or we convert it into something that we can, export to others.
Okay. Mr. Charles, sorry, I have to get to you now. When you were talking earlier, you made mention of people protesting. And we know that Niger people protested in Mina about the high cost of living and fear of food scarcity. Do you think this protest actually speak volume in the ears of our government? Is it a good measure in solving this economic crisis?
Yes, it is, because you can't, somebody beating you says you don't cry. That's what we have. I mean, when you cry out, people know you are feeling the pain.
Are they really listening to our cries?
No, but we have to start from somewhere. It's the docility of the people that embody the government over the years to know that when they push out policies that have no human faces, people will just swallow. In Nigeria, because of the churches, they will say, most churches, I'm sure John Akele, maybe your church will also tell you that the economy you operate is not of this world. So don't mind them. we operate divine economy. So whatever is happening now is not supposed to affect you. So we've become so docile. Whatever is happening, say, okay, we are of the world, we're in the world, we're not of this world. We take ourselves away from what's happening. So that's why in most cases people don't protest, and government they always get away with it. So I'm happy that people in far-flung places as Mina, they are beginning to do what people in Lagos and Abuja, who are supposed to be, in quote, educated, are doing. All right, but what Bayo Onanuga said may not be totally far from the truth. Nigeria is one of in terms of cost of living, Nigeria is one of the cheapest places. But that's on the one hand. On the other hand is that Bayo Onanuga has not been known to be a man who talks with tact, because I always quarrel with when you appoint people who are supposed to be a spokesman, avoid journalists. Take people, even if you have to get journalists with communication background, because the work of the journalist is to do news and all that. They are not given to repairing damages. They further create damages. If you look at all of them, all the spokespersons you have had for government over say, how many of them have done well? They all had journalist background. Is it Abati? Abati, who was the chairman of the board of editorial board of Guardian. You saw what he did during Jonathan's time. You saw Femi Adesina, also a journalist, called journalist. So they must look for people who have communication background, who can speak to the people, who have a way of even reducing the tension. Bayo Onanuga spoke the truth, but he spoke it in an inauspicious time, inappropriate time. This is only time to speak that kind of truth. All right, it is time for you to say yes. We know that things are hard, but it was in response to Atiku. Atiku came up with all they reeled out all the things that this government is not doing well and all that. I expected. I don't know what to say. Atiku, well, if you were the president, what would you have done differently? That's what a communication expert will tell you. What would you have done differently? Can you? We are all Nigerians. Rather than this opposition, can you bring your paper? Okay, what you would have done if you were president? Can you help this country, help Nigerians? Rather than saying, as I said, he spoke the truth, but in an inauspicious time and so. People are suffering. People are depressed. People are having problems every day. Look at the over there, just like your Lawa said. Oh, the north, they have the land. Agriculture is about 90% from the north, but today banditry is not allowing it to go to the farm. There are places in Maiduguri, in Borno State, where you have civilian JTF. They escort farmers to the farm, stay with them, to till the soil, to plant, and then come back home and all that. Is that how you are going to be solving their food insecurity in this country? How many farmers can they escort to their farms? Go to Ondo, where you have this forest. Go to Ekiti. Everybody is being kidnapped. You don't even know whether if you go to the farm, you return home safely. So yes, Nigeria is one of the cheapest places to live in terms of cost of living. But this is not the time to say it at all. That's why I quarrel with him.
All right then. Let's come to John Akirele now. We were talking about the minimum wage. The increase in the minimum wage to reduce the suffering of the people. Now, I don't know if you have, if you are privy to the fact that fuel queues are beginning to return, and one is wondering, at least from the weekend up until this morning, we've been seeing queues. In fact, yesterday I saw cars parked at filling station when the filling station wasn't even open yet, and one starts to wonder what is going on. Now, we've been talking about the probability of a protest. Do you think that will hold water at this time? Knowing fully well that the man at the helm of the affairs led Nadeco in a protest, and he knows the nitty-gritty of how these things are done. Do you think this will make any impact, really, John?
Well, Moses, if you ask me, it will, because it is obvious that consecutive governors or governance or government over the years have shown that they are pharaohs and that their heart is hardened against the people. So also their ears, is deafening to the people. And that's why during here the crying of the people. If you beat a child, I said the child should not cry. The child will cry. And the cry, when you even give a child maybe 2 strokes of the cane, the shout might not be too loud. But in a case where you are giving that child different strokes of the cane on a daily basis, what do I mean? Not far from now, subsidy was removed. People can no longer buy fuel at the normal rate again. That, had a drastic economic effect on the people. They have not even survived from that, though. Dollar to Naira exchange rate, Naira keep falling, as if they beat him Oruka Aluwo, and then they have not survived from that one again. You come up with different policies that are anti-people, and then you ask yourself, this is just way too much for the people to handle. Moses, how I wish by Nonuga, when he's making that comparison that Nigeria, is the lowest country in terms of cost of living, can he also say, when it comes to minimum wage in the global area, is Nigeria also in that regard? In some places, they pay them as high as 12,000 naira per hour, Moses, and you pay a family man 30,000 naira minimum wage. What can 30,000 naira buy in my 12, Moses? And so, you see, we have a government that have disconnected themselves from the people, and so they do not even feel the plight of that people. And so let me not lie to you, Moses. If the way to go, that the message will get to Abuja very quickly, and that Mr. President can be, waking up from his sleep, that Mr. President, you need to wake up and respond to the people, is that they should go to the streets and make their voices heard. Mina, I've shown it to you. And Moses, let me not lie to you. Mark my words. You will see that in a couple of days to come, You see protests in other states of the federation. And that's also to tell you that our government, our governors of the state should understand that each state has what it takes to get to self-sufficiency. Moses, you go to a place like Japan, a city like Sapporo produces beer for the whole of Japan, and they export their beer to the 46 prefectures that are remaining. Who says to you that Benue State cannot serve the whole of Lagos, the whole of Nigeria, yam and fish? And if that is their own source of revenue, they can, create industries, they can create jobs, and they can be self-sufficient. And then we can be able to feed Africa. Moses, as Nigerians, we are capable of feeding Africa. And that is why I see Nigeria as a super world power. And so our leaders should understand that when we are pointing to a position of authority and leadership, you are saddled with a responsibility that is even far beyond Nigeria in regard to Africa. And so they should understand that you cannot just come with policies that are anti-people. You say that there's no money, there's minimum wages is so small, but then our politicians eat fat. If somebody who is very skinny becomes a senator now, you see a pot belly overnight, and then you ask yourself, what becomes of our educational status? What becomes of our professors? What becomes of our doctors? What is their working environment? What becomes of our police officers? Most of you see a police officer driving a car and you weep for Nigeria. Look at his uniform from head to toe. He looks so tattered and unkempt. That's the police officer that wants someone to arrest you. Even he himself is even frustrated. He's depressed. Mentally, he's not stable. Why? Because he lives in an uncompleted building. He lives in a terminated building. His salary does not come in time. There's no wage for him. And then you ask yourself, how can you keep somebody in such a psychological state and you want him to operate at his maximal level? It can't work that way. And so it's a call that government should understand that their policies are anti-people. Now, the protest that is coming up is not to destroy anything. It's just to make their voices heard. That, Mr. President, your policies are anti-people, and then they can go back to their own drawing board and make adjustments to policies that can favor the people. At this point in time, this administration will not allow those protests to hold. Then they should hold Mr. President responsible, because he led Nadeco, and I know what he did during those areas. They are still in papers, and they are still on record. And so he also, Moses, there was Occupy Ojota now, Occupy Nigeria Ojota, and we all of us knew how that went. So by this time, now that they are the ends of affairs, I don't see that they should step from the people's voice. Rather, the people should go out and speak all across the length and breadth of Nigeria, except if the cost of living is very for them now. How much is house rent now, Moses? You see that somebody who is paying 100,000 now, the house rent is being, hiked to about 250,000 naira. How can that person pay that kind of house rent with 30,000 as minimum wage? And so this is an indication to you that the government needs to sit down and look at all of these things holistically. What do we need to fix? Do we need to fix electricity? Do we need to fix security? If we're able to fix all of these two, can that create more jobs for people? Yes. Can that re-engineer the economy to come back again? Yes. How can we fight inflation? These are the discussions that should come on board. And it's only in Nigeria that I don't see our political office holders engaging the people. In some other class, Moses, that's why they have town hall meetings over and over again. And they ask people, you are the economist of Ekiti State. What do you can do as a state? And then people start brainstorming and giving feedbacks on their opinions. And before you know it, they start taking into action those ideas and suggestions. But in Nigeria, we have brilliant minds who will talk to the government. Rather than the government listening, they tell you that you're in opposition. You are looking for appointments. And I've said the time with that number, I, John, I'm not looking for any appointment. I only want a better country. That's all. Thank you very much.
All right then.
Okay, I'm just going to come to Mr. Lawal again. I've been seeing you laugh and all of that. Now, the people went out to protest. And according to reports, they were dispersed by security operatives. Now, their protest is based on the fact that they believe that there's a disconnect between them and the government, and at this point, they need to voice out their right to protect. That's where I'm going. On the international phase, how do you think Nigeria will be seen at this point? Because let's not forget that just like Mr. John just mentioned, there was the Occupy Nigeria that went successfully and all of the protests that follows. Now, the right to protect, which by law is very, very clear in our constitution that every citizen has the right. And of course, people have the right to gather and protect. Now, if by law you want protection, that's when you go to the police and ask for protection for your rally and all of that. Now, at this point, how does this whole scenario paint Nigeria and this present government in the international face?
Paints us bad. You know, it paints the government. It shows that the government is not ready to listen to the people. They have their mind fixed on what they want to do, and they don't want to distractions from the people. I led a protest in 2016. Police they guided us. In fact, we wrote to Commissioner of Police that we want to go on protest.
Okay.
And so while we told them the points, at Alausa now, we went there in 2016 twice. When we got there, the police, when we started, the police came. They just told us that, okay, please, so just say, who's the leader? I am the leader. They collected my name and number and said, okay, these are the procedures. Just don't disrupt traffic. Just follow this road. And they were guiding us, heavily harmed.
What was the
we were
protest
even joking.
about?
Oh, it was about electricity.
Okay.
It was about electricity.
So now that
And they guided us throughout. We went around Alausa, going protesting even to the governor's office, to Ikeja Electric, to NEC. And they were guiding us. The second time they guided us again. That was 2016.
Okay.
Now, unharmed people came on the street to show their grievance, and the only thing the police could do is to use gun to disperse them. Even if you want to, even if there's a riot, for the people who are rioting are unharmed, what you need to do is to either use tear gas or use hot water. Is that not it? To disperse them. But gun, which can take lives, and you brought gun to shoot on where their people are, and you know what they are protesting is right. Those police officers are supposed to have been arrested by now, and the person who gave them orders to come are supposed to be prosecuted, because it is their right to protest. It's their civic right to be protest.
All right, let's wrap your concluding thoughts now, because we're pressed for time.
The government needs to be careful. They need to listen to people, because when NSAS was coming on board, it just started and it was like a time bomb exploding almost all over the states. It's coming gradually to it. If the government does not listen to the people, it's gradually coming, because people are already agitated. They are waiting for where it's going to start. And it's already starting somewhere now. You get it? So that it will not explode. The government should listen to the people. The House of Assembly should do the right laws. Reduce governance. That's one of, if you tell the people you have reduced governance by 80%, by 20, you have reduced it, you have cut so and people will see that, okay, the government is serious. That part of billions you have recovered from that area, you are keeping it somewhere to be used for certain projects. The people will see that, okay, the government is, taking the right steps. Right, so that is my submission.
All right, and quickly, let's take concluding thoughts from Charles Ideho. Now, Charles, please, let's get your concluding thoughts.
Okay, well, first, thank you very much. But the country doesn't have to have natural resources to be rich. We look at Russia with all the mineral resources. Russia is poor. I mean, if people in Russia, they are very poor. Forget the braggadocio that what's his name? Putin is putting up everywhere in the whole world. Look at Congo DR. Congo DR is the richest geographical point in the whole world. But look at the poverty over there. What are the natural? They have none, but one of the richest ones. So it tells you that it is everything. The wealth of a nation comes from good leadership. If the leadership is good, they can create something out of nothing and make the people happy. We have natural resources here, yet we are poor. It tells you that our leadership, there's something wrong with it. Until we change the leadership, I'm sorry, we are going nowhere, anywhere people can mention that we are rich. That's the way I end my own my thought.
Thank you very much. John, please.
Yeah.
All right, Moses, I think what I will end on this note will be to tell our government of today that regional revitalization is the way to go for us as a people. We are too big as a country to remain poor. And so every region must go back home and develop their own region. And that is the responsibility of each and every state government. And also the people should not be tired of speaking, because we have just one country, and the country is Nigeria. And on that note, I'll say God bless Nigeria. But Moses, let me also give you a pointer. To maybe in your own end, there are some loopholes that you need to tighten from your own end at the studio. The topic we are discussing now and what I have is quite different. And so please, against next engagement, let's tighten that loophole so we can have the same topic at the same time.
You do apologize for that. It was an emergency, so we
All
had
right.
to talk about this particular one. But we'll give you prior information next time. Thank you very much, John Akirele. We've also been discussing with Charles Ideho and Lawale Kundayo with us in the studio. Well, we must say very thank you to you, gentlemen, for your views and thoughts. We'll take a break now. When we come back, we'll get into business.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
When your morning starts, make sure to look around for the right company to serve you everything you need to know about what's happening around you. That's why you need VOP this morning, because we will climb this far to give you a voice in what's going on, from news, reviews, politics and the economy, sports and even entertainment. Join us weekdays 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. right here on VOP TV. VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice. When your morning starts, make sure to look around for the right company to serve you everything you need to know about what's happening around you. That's why you need VOP this morning, because we will climb this far to give you a voice in what's going on, from news, reviews, politics and the economy, sports and even entertainment. Join us weekdays 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. right here on VOP TV. VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice. When your morning starts, make sure to look around for the right company to serve you everything you need to know about what's happening around you. That's why you need VOP this morning, because we will climb this far to give you a voice in what's going on, from news, reviews, politics and the economy, sports and even entertainment. Join us weekdays 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. right here on VOP TV. VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
All right, welcome back. It's still VOP this morning. Now let's get into the world of business, shall we? The poultry farmers in Nigeria collectively incurred a staggering loss exceeding 3 trillion naira in investments throughout 2023 due to economic challenges. Now, the chairman of the Lagos State chapter of the Poultry Association of Nigeria, PAN, Mojidi Yola, revealed this significant setback, citing the closure of approximately 50% of poultry farms across the country. Economic hardships forced many farmers to exit the business, leading to the profound loss. Now, despite these challenges, Iola urged members to persevere in the industry. The poultry sector's woes highlights the broader economic struggles faced by agricultural stakeholders in the country. Away from poultry business to aviation business, as the Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority, NTAA, has taken a firm stance against domestic airline operators due to ongoing flight delays, disruptions and cancellations affecting the aviation sector. The Acting Director General of NTAA, Chris Najamo, issued a statement emphasizing that airing airlines would face sanctions without exemption. Najamo highlighted the need for airlines to prioritize passenger welfare, adhere to regulations, and make immediate improvements. The NTAA's intensified oversight aims to ensure strict compliance, and Najamo stressed that airlines failing to fulfill obligations would face appropriate sanctions. Away from that story now, let's bring it down to Lagos. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu of Lagos announced that President Bola Tinubu has committed to formally flagging off the Lagos Rail Line Rail Project, the Lagos Red Line Rail Project, I beg your pardon, in February 2024. Sanwo-Olu shared this information during his visit to the China Railway Rolling Stock Corporation in Dalian, China, where discussions were held on procuring rolling stock for the blue and red rail lines in Lagos. That's becoming a bit of a tongue twister there. Red rail, blue rail, red. Yeah. The governor expressed readiness for the event and mentioned that testing has already begun. Pending President Tinubu's schedule, the last week of February is anticipated for the official flag-off, marking a significant development in Lagos transportation infrastructure. All right, so those are the business stories we have for you at the moment. More business stories will come your way when we get our business program at 10 o'clock. In the meantime, let's take a break. When we come back, entertainment will be served to you. So, hey, stay right here.
You're still listening to VOP. This morning we have Marcinachi Okafor for the entertainment news. Good morning, Marcinachi.
Good morning. Moses said something. He said entertainment will be served to you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm here to serve you entertainment. But then, you know what? I want to ask you guys a question.
Okay.
What movie, old movie, would you rather be served every day? Like a very old movie, you'd watch that old movie every day of your life without complaining.
Home Alone.
Home Alone. Nigerian movies.
Nigerian?
Nigerian movies.
I have one.
Yes.
Egodo.
Egodo, okay.
It's a bit of a tough one because I rarely do Nigerian movies. But, now that I'm put on the spot, Nigerian movie.
Yeah.
Old Nigerian movie. Okay, let me see now.
Okay.
Maybe, I really cannot.
I know you would say that.
What
I was
about
expecting that actually.
Way back. Even the
Yeah.
should be one.
Oh,
Because
There's been
the
a
lead
remake
actor.
to it anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because guess what? There's a movie.
There's one with I don't know if that's the title. Hawa.
Yeah.
Hawa. It was a scary movie.
Really? I don't watch scary movies, so
It was a
I
scary
can't
movie.
possibly relate to that.
Well, that's
So now
that's
we
that one.
have the producers of the sequel to the 2001 action classic, Isakaba movie.
I almost called it Sakaba.
Isakaba. Yes, Isakaba. So there'll be a remake of that. And guess what? You know, Sam Dede has always been the lead character in that movie, and he's back again with the likes of Chidimma Keme and Regina Daniels. Like, she's a very young person having to act in that movie. I really can't wait to see what she's going to come up with in that movie. And then we have a lot of other A-list actresses and actors that will be featuring in that movie. But then, you know, the fantastic thing about it is that a lot of the young bees, some young people do not really know about Isakaba movie. I mean, Isakaba came up 23 years ago. That was when it was produced. And I know a lot of you watching me right now are still babies. I know. So if you know that, so I want to ask you, viewing us, looking at us, a question. Tell me that movie you rather watch over and over again. That's an old movie, very
Nigerian
old
movie.
Nigerian movie, yes, please.
Okay.
We're in Nigeria, we're Nigerian, so Nigerian movie, yes. So Isakaba is going to be up very soon.
I see you're itching. I see you itching to actually say so.
Eya Jomi
Say
Joki.
it.
Have you ever heard of Eya Jomi Joki? Have you ever heard of Thompson? These are characters in some
Yeah.
Thompson.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was even a song to it. Anyway.
We must be very young.
I haven't.
We must be very young. I'm happy to be this young. I'm very happy. So moving on, Shehu Kuti has come out to say that people are after his life, that people are threatening him. And I'm going to say this in his words. He said, "I will reveal it here. They want to silence me in this country. I can't tell you how many wars I am fighting alone. I can't tell you how many cases in court for nothing. How many police investigations left, right and center for nothing. For just saying the truth." everybody is inviting the police on me. Kuti expressed. I don't know what's with Kuti, but then he has been on the news for
Sheung.
yes, Sheung. He has been on the news for a couple of times, and then now he's coming out to say that people are after his life. What do you think about that news?
Oh, well, if he says people are after his life, he probably has a reason to say that. But some of it he has attracted to himself. One time he slapped a policeman.
Yeah.
Well, that in itself, I'm even surprised he was not properly dragged for that one.
Yeah.
That was laying your hands on a uniformed officer. That in itself was a crime.
Yeah.
But other claims, I cannot, speak to other claims because I don't know the gravity of it and what he's being dragged for. But we should just be careful not to bring rain upon ourselves.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
I'm surprised knowing him to be someone who's a very tough guy, and then he's coming out now to say, "Oh
no,
my
it's
God,
not about
my
not
life
being
is
tough.
at
It's
risk."
about letting people know what is coming for you as a way of hindering it. I have a friend who is a public affairs analyst, and he's been on VOP TV for some time. I was shocked when he put out that information that look, his life is being threatened for things that he has said about certain government, certain administration, and if that he was actually encouraged to put that information out there as a way of hindering further threats to his life. Because when people know that people know that certain individuals are after you, they probably would just
so maybe if
simmer
something
down.
happens to him, they will know that he actually spoke up and all of that.
So I think it's okay for him to cry out if he feels there's a threat to his life.
Well, that's all for entertainment this morning.
All right then. Thank you very much. We'll take a break now. When we come back, you will be having sports. Stay with us.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
All right, well, about the final end of the show, so let's just dive into it, and I'm talking about sports. Now, it's no more news that the Super Eagles of Nigeria tomorrow would be taking on the Bafana of South Africa in the semi-final encounter of the ongoing African Cup of Nations. Now, the coach of the Super Eagles, and I'm talking about Jose Pizarro, has come out to say he's demanding more from his players. Nigeria's coach Jose Pizarro has issued a rallying call to his attacking players, urging them to step up as the Super Eagles prepare for their African Cup of Nations semi-final showdown against South Africa in Bokke on Wednesday. Now, the Super Eagles have quietly and efficiently secured a spot in the last four, recording 3 1-0 victories in their last 4 games, coupled with a convincing 2-0 win against Cameroon. However, the upcoming opponents, South Africa, have also demonstrated defensive solidity, boasting 4 consecutive clean sheets, and Pizarro acknowledges the challenge of breaking down the resolute defense of the Bafana team. Now, Ademola Lookman has been a standout performer for Nigeria, contributing with 3 crucial goals in the Ivory Coast finals, while Victor Osimhen found the net in their pool opening against Equatorial Guinea. Now, despite the defensive prowess, the Super Eagles have seen goals from penalties by William Trusek and an own goal from Guinea-Bissau's Opa Sangate, resulting to a tally of 4 goals. But then, the Super Eagles hopefully would be doing better at this particular game that is to be played tomorrow. Still talking about the Super Eagles, we are desperate to win titles. Now, this is coming from the Super Eagles goalkeeper, and that is none other than the number one stopper at the AFCON, Stanley Nwabali. In anticipation of the upcoming semi-final clash between the Super Eagles and the Bafana Bafana of South Africa, Stanley Nwabali, the talented goalkeeper representing Nigeria, expressed his readiness for the high-stake encounter. Currently playing for South African club Chippa United, Nwabali holds a record and a unique connection with some of the players of the opposing Bafana Bafana team. Now, the seasoned shot-stopper emphasized the special nature of facing the South African squad, noting the mutual familiarity between him and the Bafana Bafana players. Confident of his ability, Nwabali described the impending match in Boke as bound to be an intriguing and captivating evening. The Wednesday fixture is set to mark the 15th meeting between Nigeria and South Africa at the full international level. Nwabali, who has only conceded once in 5 games in Cote d'Ivoire, stands as a crucial asset for the Super Eagles in the pursuit of victory. Now, we're hoping that the Super Eagles at this point would be doing the best that they can to make sure that they get a victory. Now, not forgetting the fact that Nwabali plays for Chippa United in South Africa. The South African team, the Bafana Bafana team, has 8 players from the Mamelodi Sundown club side in South Africa, so he would have seen them and known their kind of play.
He also would know him.
Exactly. So
just the way Napoli's
Victor
striker
Osimhen
told
and
how to mark.
Anguilla. You know.
Talking about Victor Osimhen, there are fears that he may not be part of the team that will file out against Bafana Bafana of South Africa because he has an abdominal injury. Where do you think that would place the Super Eagles attack?
The attacking prowess of the Super Eagles is still potent. There is still...
Even without Osimhen?
Oh, yes. There is still a Tyron Murphy who has not kicked the ball at all in this tournament. Very deadly striker. And I can tell you for free that he also is gearing to go. But the Osimhen situation, we would find out when our correspondent in Cote d'Ivoire would be tell us everything that's happening at the camp. That's about it for sports.
And that's about it for the show as well, as we have to run right now. Don't forget, news comes up at 9 o'clock. Well, this is it. I'm Moses Humphrey wishing you a beautiful day.
Fina Okechukwu, enjoy the rest of your Tuesday.
And I am David Edwin saying, don't forget to always pray for Nigeria. There is no great nation like ours. Have an amazing day ahead. God bless Nigeria.